I think it's very common nowadays that people extract from content they consume and from videos and quotes and everything. They extract exactly the parts which they want to see, and mostly the parts which they are convinced that should not be polished, should not be fixed. They think that they are complete, perfect, and while do not mistake what I'm saying with being complete by yourself, because yes, you are complete by yourself in the means that you only have you. I don't know whether you believe in God, but I just have to mention now that God created you and you are a creation which is complete by itself. You do not need to ever feel threatened in a way that you are in high risk. You do not have to feel this immense stress. I know that we often come from situations which leave us very stressed later in life, and maybe we were stressed ever since we were kids. So since we were so stressed and we learned to adapt to an environment full of just hate, resentment, just very negative feelings, negative, everything negative around us. Of course, then why are we, when you sit down, and why do you feel like, oh, why do I feel this immense stress right now? Everything is supposed to be okay. Everything is supposed to be, everything is, there's some stress. There's stress, but there's nothing like upcoming that is stressful. There's this stress because you're existing and because you're breathing. And I don't know, I actually, I know that some people will find themselves in what I am talking about, because I've felt it, and I know that if I've felt it, there's another soul out there who's felt at least a fragment or a different version of it, of the feeling. The thing is, you might think many people go through their lives like, oh, like they don't have any sense of too much responsibility. Like you had to develop it. You had to maybe go through some things which made you develop very a strong foundation, a strong just survival, not even character. Maybe some people develop a strong character, some do not. For some, it comes later. But I do not think always that I'm adequate to give advice in some things. Like, I tell people around me, stop stressing. I mean, I don't say it like that. I mean like, when people start to stress, I feel it, and it's you know, I don't want that for anyone, but I still feel it myself. I cannot shut it down, you know? And I know people tell you, look at yourself as a friend and, you know, don't stress so much, blah, blah, blah. And I know to tell people, like, just slow down and, you know, but I don't even think that those words help some people. I don't even think that some things, you know, that we say, which we say out of encouragement, out of, like, you know, pure intention. And of course, pure intention, that is the most important thing. You're not doing things out of negativity or just hatred. If you're doing things out of hatred, then you know you've not done something good. Whatever. That's not. I was talking about just. I do not feel adequate sometimes because it is such a process to actually uh, relearn some things yourself. Do do the learning, do the processing yourself, to go through all of those stages, to sit with yourself after you've had to go through years of, like, being basically forced to um, prepare for the worst case scenarios, and you're constantly being prepared for a really, really mentally challenging situation, whatever that is in or was in your life. Or if you cannot resonate with this, then you're probably not even in this video anymore. But if you are anyways, and you're watching for I don't know what, there are things which you so want to help the person, and you so want to give them good advice. And sometimes people do not need advice, they just need to feed onto I don't know what. That's why we have to be careful what we feed onto. We cannot. There are people who keep feeding on other people, feeding on gossip. There are so many people who feed on gossip and small talk, and so many people who make small talk, and it becomes like, I'm not. Small talk is okay if you enjoy it. I've had a specific situation in my mind. There are some people who use some of these tools, like small talk. Communication in every way is a window to basically, it's a gateway, not even a window, it's a gateway to get on someone, like get into their, basically, their self. It's a gateway because after communicating with someone, some people, at least I felt this, feel different, and they cannot explain it, even if the conversation hasn't been bad, hasn't been good, hasn't been, but you know you're feeling something different. But there are people who um, basically have to use up your energy. Basically, I don't know how else to put it, because it's basically what they do. They try to use up your energy, and you just have to you have to ignore it. There are so many people who are so nice and can, with like strangers, and come up to you and everything, and like 3 minutes later, they are um doing something stupid in front of you, like taking your position in a line of people. Yeah, it is about a specific situation, but I don't want to get too much into it. It wasn't what happened specifically to me. But you know, when someone sees you're very, when someone who is in that mindset, that they need to feed, um, when they see you're like a good person, or like, those people who always look very happy, whatever, um, they get used so much, like, and I've seen a situation like that today with someone um, who just looks like a really nice person, and it's tricky. It's tricky. I don't think that I am adequate to give advice sometimes, but I can still talk. I don't think anyone should rush anywhere, but boy, do I fall into the temptation of rushing into things, into, just my own. But God was and is, He's always with me and with you. And no one can destroy you. Like, nothing can destroy you. See, some of us, when these feelings arise, not everyone has this, but I've noticed a lot of people in a lot of this generation, and is just, we're kind of, so many people are so miserable, and just not in a bad way, not in like I'm judging you way. It is bad. It is bad. Not like in a bad way that I'm shaming them. I'm not shaming them. I am saying people have been through so much, and this generation has been through so much, even if, the older generations wouldn't agree with that. A lot of people from the older generation do not agree with that, but not all of them, so I'm not gonna generalize. But I just think, wow, it costs nothing to be kind. Everyone has their own, like, crash outs and things. It's just sometimes you can really keep your mouth shut.